Tony this morning on our hike in the beautiful hills outside Boulder, Colorado, and we were geeking out again, and he was telling me about model context protocol, which I've heard before, but then we went back to his place and he showed me some stuff that he's working on with some Formula One hackery, and I was like totally blown away by this thing. So I came back and I wanted to start working on taking my CRUD AI workflow and CRUD that automates, or I don't know, not really automating right now, but does some heavy lifting for running SOQL queries via the Bulk API in Salesforce and downloading the results. So I know I started doing some research, and it looks like there's somebody that does have this. Well, let's back up a little bit. So this, I'm just going to read this off their website. So this MCP is an open protocol that standardizes how applications provide context to LLMs. So let me pull this over right here. All right, this is pretty impressive here. Standardized way to connect your devices. This is the key, I think. There's a bunch of pre-builts, allows you to flexibility to switch LLM providers and vendors. And then here's kind of the core architecture, remote procedure call, looks like, but in a sexier way nowadays. So this is pretty slick. Started looking around, and it looks like somebody does have, where is it? Let me see if I can find it here. Somebody does have kind of like a Salesforce one that they wrote here. And this is fine. This is actually pretty slick. But I wanted to do something with the Bulk API, because this probably is going to eat up a lot of your tokens for Salesforce every time you run one of these, because it uses the REST API, which is fine for some ad hoc stuff if you want to do a quick query, get some data in there, get some data out to play around with. But let's say I wanted to do larger operations like exporting the data out to the CSV, which is what the Bulk API does, and then doing some analysis on it. This you'd eat up a lot of your API tokens versus the Bulk API. You can run tons of bulk operations a day and then just download the CSV results. So let's see. So I got Claude running here. He showed me pointed me in the direction to get this configured, where you specify these MCP servers. Let me pull up this config here. If I can find it. I don't get lost again. I've got so many windows open here. All right, so where did it go? Oh, there we go. So right now I just got these two. So inside my Claude Desktop config.json, I've got these Docker here to run my Docker container. I already have the image built. And then here is, I needed to mount the environment variable file so I could source the environment variables. Because when I run my Docker container, it expects these environment variables to be set that reads them in and runs that Node.js app to get the OAuth token, to do the authentication and OAuth token. So those are the servers. So once I set those up, when you restart Claude, you'll see in this little, in the bottom right-hand corner here, you see this little hammer with all these different tools that are available now. So you click on these, and these are all the ones from that MCP server those two that I installed. There's ones for working with all the Docker images. There's one for reading files, things like that, which is pretty slick. All right. And let's see. Yeah, so let's go ahead and run this. Like I said, I already have this working with CRUD. I built a Docker container to do the authentication, return an OAuth token, and then the CRUD down the road uses that OAuth token to submit a bulk query and then monitor the bulk query and then download the results. So I'm going to get this all working in Claude Desktop so I can just run a SOQL query from here and have it download the results into Claude and then do some analysis, which should be pretty slick. So let's go ahead and do this. I wrote all this down so I don't bore you with all my horrible typing skills. The first thing I want to do here is I want to remove the container, the old one if it exists. Okay. And then I want to read my environment variable in my environment file here. This read the .env file and export the variables to use in the run container configuration. Okay. And then this is the run container command that I'm going to use here. So run container, this is the image, the name. These are the volumes that I mount. Since that server key, I need that in that Node.js app in the Docker container to do the authentication. And then these are the environment variables that this command up here is going to export. So I have a little .env file that has the username, client ID, and the instance URL in there. Okay. And then once we're done, let's do this. Let's go fetch the container logs for this particular container that we returned and return the Salesforce token. All right, let's try this. All right, we're going to get prompted a bunch, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and run this. So let's go allow that. You can see this. Tries to remove it. Now it's going to read the environment variable here. You can see there's my SF username, client ID, and the URL. Okay, now it's going to run the container with that environment variables. It's running. And let's see if it fetched the logs here. There's the ID right there, see? And here's my token. Dude, this is like taking candy from a baby. Yeah, so there you go. Bob is always going to be your uncle as long as you tune into this channel. And I'm going to go ahead and work on next to submit the SOQL query, then monitor it, all that voodoo magic, and then download it, and we'll get it into Claude. So there you go. Hope everybody has a great weekend, rest of their weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.